64th anniversary of the Holy Wedding. I think about it. What would have happened if in 1960s the Christianity understood the wish behind the words, Jesus' words of "I will return"? If the Christians really understood what that meant. Looking at the true parents' providence and providential history, things could have been very different. Why did Jesus die on the cross? The Creator created the cosmos in His image and built the mineral world, the plant world, and the animal world, and created them in pairs, and at the end created man and woman who could have been the original ancestors of humankind. And specifically to man and woman gave a growth period so that they can grow on themselves and to reach perfection. That's what the Creator longed for. However, those who were supposed to become the ancestors of humankind they should have grown in oneness. They were supposed to grow in one heart with God, but they did not, so they were kicked out of the Garden of Eden. God's beginning and the end is the same. Since He has begun, He must finish what He has started. Centered on, He cannot change the principle of creation that He had created. That is why He could not just leave behind the fallen humanity. That's why He brought about the history of the providence of restoration. That's why He has brought about the chosen people, the Israelites, for 4,000 years, and has worked throughout those 4,000 years to restore from an individual, family, tribe, people to the level of nation. And at each level, God has set a central figure to bring about the restoration of providence. And during that time, if that central figure was not able to fulfill the person's responsibility, then the person had to pay indemnity. That is what the Bible teaches us. Through this tremendous efforts by heaven and humankind, for 4,000 years, God was able to send Jesus. He can call His own Son. But how can we, the people, the
ป๊ากิน
cross
ก่อน
at the only
ป๊า
age
ป๊าเลย
of
แตะกินก่อน
At this point, we must understand Mary, who birthed Jesus, the Bible says it's his immaculate conception. Mary, the Zechariah family, as well as the Jewish people, they all did not understand the essence of Jesus. The Jewish people who have suffered so much in order to carry on the responsibility of the restoration of providence, but they did not understand the essence of Jesus. They did not understand how to attend Jesus. In that sense, there was no one who was besides Jesus. You could say that there were the 12 disciples, but they did not understand the providence in its essence. That is why Jesus had to go to the way of the cross. That sorrowful heart. Even Jesus prayed. Has prayed in this moment that do as Father needs. That was the heart that Jesus had at the cross. The central figure that God has intended to send, the person who could rebirth the humankind, the ones who could rebirth the fallen humankind, the true Father, who was supposed to become the true Father of humankind, the people who led such central figure to the cross, do you know what kind of indemnity that they had to pay? Jesus said that he will return, and he said he will celebrate the marriage lamb celebration. The Christianity began centered on the works of the Holy Spirit through the disciples. But they did not understand the essence of Jesus. They just believed that Jesus' words that he will return. And in that sense, only centered on such words, they were just waiting for Jesus to come. And that is the beginning of Christianity. And through the works of Rome and the worldwide mission, it was able to spread worldwide. However, the Christians did not 100% live by Jesus' words of love thy neighbor like yourself. The continent that suffered most under the Christians was the African continent. How can missionaries who carried the Bible and went around the world, how can such people as slaves. It's an unimaginable thing that has happened. And also, centered on this such Christian realm, the communist belief where God does not exist was able to begin. In that sense, the current state that the world is in is still a intense fight between democracy and communism. The reality is that the world is drifting away from becoming one. And looking at such reality, heaven has allowed many religions to come about in order to help guide humanity to restoration. Centered on its location, different religions were able to come about, but most religions were centered on the man. From the viewpoint of the principle of creation, man himself cannot birth life on his own. Religion is the same. Now, all religions are at the end of its line. They have to let everything go and they have to figure out where is their final destination, their final purpose. They have to find true parents who attend heaven. That is the final destination of all religions. From what Dr. Song has said in his speech previously, what if in 1960, on the foundation where the Christians received true parents in a welcoming manner, and we celebrated the marriage ceremony on such foundation, the world would have already could have achieved an environment in which the world as one family under Heavenly Parent, attend Heavenly Parent here in the physical world. However, that was not possible. And because of such shortcomings, true parents' history had to suffer through 53 years of time in the wilderness. However, the responsibility of true parents is to achieve, to realize Heavenly Parent's dream here on earth. That is the responsibility of true parents, and in that perspective, heaven guided me to proclaim the foundation day by myself. In other words, looking at the perspective of a dream of Jesus and the completion of the providence. The first advent of the only begotten Son was already burned, but at that time the only begotten daughter was not born. Heaven must choose a newly chosen people and has to was liberated in 1945. At that time, centered on Pyongyang, the Protestant movements from America, from the United States, was the spiritual works of the Presbyterian um, church and bishop was very well done in Pyongyang, and many spiritual and many pastors and spiritual leaders were about in Pyongyang. But during this, because of the Second World War, the North was divided, and after 5 years, 5 years after the World War has ended, the Korean War began. What you have to understand is that centered on the principles that he has set, to the person that he has created, he has to give a time of the growth period. And based on that principle, to the only begotten daughter that he has sent after 6,000 years, until she can make her own decisions on her own, it is the responsibility of heaven to protect me. And at that time, when I was still young, Korea was divided, and more so that the North Korea was actively preparing to invade the South. The South was very focused on the independence. That's why it took time for them to come together and to settle and to form a cohesion among the South. But North, centered on Kim Il Sung, they were able to unite more quickly and was able to amass a military. As you know, a 6-year-old girl cannot accept or bring about the providence at that age. That's why heaven has guided me to the South. And because at that time the North was very not a safe environment and was working towards become a communist nation, heaven has guided the UN and 16 nations and brought about the UN forces to participate in the Korean War and has worked to protect the democracy of South Korea. Those soldiers who attended from the 16 nations, the age of all those soldiers were under 20. Even on the social standards, they were considered at the age where they're most pure. But those such innocent, at such innocent age, when whether they understood, they participated in the providence where worked to sacrifice their life to protect the life of the only begotten daughter so that she can fulfill the dream of Heavenly Parent. That's where they're why they sacrifice their lives. Even since birth, I was in connection, in total connection with heaven, and I understood such urgency of heaven and such urgent situation that the heaven was in. I have waited and endured a long time and have proclaimed the foundation day. And as you know, it's not just about the proclamation, but I had to show everyone how to do it. Heaven's wish is to live on earth, the life of heaven here on earth, with as many children as possible. And in the manifestation of true parents, and to go to the spirit world, the eternal spirit world with true parents. That was the wish of Heavenly Parent. The 64th anniversary of the Holy Wedding. And the 12th year of Chanel-go. In the efforts to create the environment to realize Heavenly Parent's dream here on earth, I, from the beginnings of the continent of Africa, the most difficult area, and also not centered on the Christian realm, but the East Muslim background. I have proclaimed in front of Muslim religious leader that I am the only begotten daughter and that I came to save humanity. And what that leader told me was that we welcome only begotten daughter. And he became my son. And then also the president, I've explained to him the providence, and I've proclaimed to him that I am the only begotten daughter, and let's work with me. And he also became my son. I expect them to come to the entry ceremony of Cheongung Cheonil Sanctum next year. How can in the realm of the Muslim nation, how can we do a blessing ceremony in the name of true parents? That's what I have done. Unification of religions. If the true parents are at the center, then all religions will be unified. Nations are the same. than 200 nations, some rich, some poor, but for all of them, the creator of all this physical world is Heavenly Parent. Such truth, and centered on such truth, the dream to live with his children here on earth, such dream of Heavenly Parent, is the one who realizes it is true parents, and centered on the completion of Cheon Han Moon. Next year, we will do the entrance ceremony where we invite and attend Heavenly Parent here on earth. Such exciting, such tremendous gratitude and happy event. How can we only enjoy it for ourselves? We must tell all the 8 billion people around the world, all the 8 billion people around the world must know that true parents are here on earth with them. And all those people must come running to the bosoms of Heavenly Parent. Until that day, we must all dedicate our hearts and pour our 정성 so that we could fulfill such day. And I really bless all of you to bring about such results. Thank you very much. Thank you. Such a historical day. Let's give a big round of applause to true parents.
Let us send a warm round of applause again to our true parents, everyone. So, from now on, True Mother will now move to her seat. I would like to ask everyone to please stand up as Heavenly Parents dream the wish of humanity.